You're in a space with your husband, your children, where you are going to now restructure your family. And it's going to be something different on the other side, but it's still your family. They're your children who are your world. And in a lot of ways, if you can approach it instead of the disaster, which, it may feel like, but many times you can find that way to finding a better structure that works better for your family. So part of it is how we view it, and again, to what Lori said, how the world views it for us.
I love that you're saying that it's going to be different, because I think so many women and men in this situation, you mourn what was. You spend so much time mourning what was. You're mourning the loss. You mourn the way things used to be. You're thinking about what your holidays are going to be like. You're thinking that morning what was. And so just that advice is so profound, is accept the fact that now things are going to be different. What did you want to say, Lori?
Yeah, and I think that when we're going through it, and you're going through it right now, it feels like a deconstruction, but it's actually a reconstruction. And a lot of people say, well, I'm starting from zero. And I say, no, you're starting from experience. You know so much more now than you did before. So you're not a blank slate. You have all this experience, and now you can say, what do I want? What's important to me? What matters to me? What have I learned from this? So you're actually starting from a place of strength, even if at the same time, and I'm a big fan of the both and, of you're going through the pain and you're going through this reconstruction.
Isn't it also important too, because over the years I've done so many shows or had conversations about this, and it's like a death, and there's a grieving that needs to happen with it that I don't think a lot of people allow for themselves. We accept the fact that when somebody has actually died in your family, that you are allowed to grieve and process that. I don't think people see divorce as a grief and something that needs to be processed.
Well, all family members experience what we call separation distress, and it doesn't matter who initiated the divorce. It's very much like severing a parent and child bond, and it takes a number of years for people to recover, and we're finding that among older adults, the recovery period is a bit more protracted than what we see for younger people. So it's taking upwards of 4 to 5 years to bounce back. So, giving yourself time.
Why is it for older? Because you would think it would be the opposite.
Well, I think it's in part because many of them are breaking up these decades-long marriages, right? They've just been much more entrenched and involved. They're unraveling much more closely entwined lives than people who've just been married for a couple of years and decide to call it quits. These are people who've been married often for 20, 30, 40 years, and they've got to disentangle all aspects of their lives, from their finances to their personal relationship, their children. And it's something that takes time, but they do recover.
Mary Jane, you want to share your story? Hello.
Yes, hi. My story is in 2021, I came downstairs, and my husband of 26 years announced that he wanted to get divorced. I was pretty locked in, as you say. So it was just like the rug being pulled out from underneath me. Everything that you said, your future that you think is going to be there with your family is no longer, and it's just kind of poof, gone in one conversation. We raised 2 daughters, one sitting next to me, Kayla, and it was just devastating. It was devastating, and kind of felt like I was drowning and didn't know which way, how to get air. So I think you lose a lot of power when this happens in yourself and your own agency, because it's not your decision, but a lot of decisions are going to be dominoing from this decision that you didn't make. So the first thing that I did, just because, was to just set the intention. I did have power over the intention through which I was going to get divorced.
You did?
I did. And that intention was my daughter's.
Mary Jane, how did you come up with that?
Well, I've done a lot of well-being things in my life. I've taught a lot. So it was within my wheelhouse. I learned a lot from you through the years.
Thank you.
There you go. So intention was really important. And I knew that my daughters were going to be watching. And it was an opportunity for them to watch me suffer and be sad and really just navigate this. And so I wanted them to see me with hope. I wanted them to see me with resiliency and to always be choosing the high road whenever I got an opportunity.
So how long ago was this? How old were your daughters?
It was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want the divorce, but I sit here right now and I just can't even, I could have never imagined how happy I would be. I am so happy. I get to spend time with, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I get to spend time with my daughters. I have work that I absolutely love. I have people that surround me that I love.
But you were where Gabriella is.
I was where you are. Yes, I think very much so. So it's true. For me, it's not a new chapter. It's really just an entirely new book. It's a whole new book of my life.
And you didn't want it.
I didn't want it.
Didn't think it was going to happen. You were 26 years in, locked in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
So I'm trying to walk every footstep right now in this new book.
Did you grieve? As we were just talking about, you grieved.
And there's so much grieving because it's not only just the loss of your husband. The domino is enormous. Like you lose. It was tough to get a credit card, and I didn't have just the ability to go buy something. I couldn't. That was a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, the smallest thing, the name that I had, you lose, and what does that mean? Well, then you don't really exist anymore on the internet. It's just so much bigger and so many little losses that the grief's pretty big.
But you, Kayla, saw your mom go through this, right?
I did, yes.
And
I mean, it was devastating at first. I think we were all shocked. And unfortunately, that seems to be a common experience amongst the women of the front row. But it was beautiful in another odd way. I think the biggest silver lining was watching my mom actually walk the talk that you were talking about. And you were such a role model and found so much joy. And now we laugh way more than we ever did. We have the best time, including coming here today and being on the Oprah podcast. That's a huge silver lining. Thanks, Dad. But yeah, I would say now we are closer than we've ever been. And there's just so much grace that I've seen you exhibit. It's saintly, honestly. It's amazing.
So is it because you were at an age where she could have a conversation? Because your kids are how old, did you say?
14 and 8.
14 and 8. So you can't have the same conversations with a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old as she would be having with you 4 years ago. So is it because you were older and you were able to talk about it and cry about it and all those things?
I definitely didn't want to hide my emotions. So that was really important that I could say, hey, you're seeing me cry and I'm going to be okay. I have to work through this process and I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out of this on the other side. And so I think we were in it somewhat together. And I didn't hide anything, but I also always tried to say, this is what it looks like to go through a hard thing. You don't just bury it. You got to work through it.
Mm-hmm.